first thing, what do you mean by angular momentum? Maybe definition can be asked to you, and its formulas in different form we will be using here in most of the derivation equation and examples. So first you have to know what do you mean by linear momentum. So linear momentum is nothing but product of mass and velocity. That linear momentum mostly denoted by P. So P equal to m into V. So here linear momentum is nothing but product of mass of body and velocity of body. Okay, what about now here angular momentum? So angular momentum is nothing but analogous to linear momentum. Okay, first thing, and secondly, that is also known as moment of linear momentum. What do you mean by that? That is, you will multiply linear momentum with distance. What distance you will multiply? Distance of position of object from the axis of rotation. You can see here in figure. So this is the distance of position of object here from the axis of rotation. That distance, suppose we are taking r. So this linear momentum is tangent to the position, that is P. So if you are writing angular momentum, that angular momentum you can write as r cross P in vector form, or you can write as L equal to P into r. This L is the notation of angular momentum, P is linear momentum, r is the distance of object from the axis of rotation. So this angular momentum is nothing but moment of linear momentum. That is, you will multiply linear momentum with distance. So we can write L equal to P into R. But we already know here P is equal to mv. You can put here. So we can write L equal to mvr. This is the one form of the formula, that is, you are writing angular momentum in terms of linear velocity. Okay, this is actually PR we are writing in magnitude form. If we consider vector, that is P vector and R vector, if we consider here, this L vector angular momentum will be equal to R cross P vector. Okay, so this R is the position vector, P is the linear momentum. Now next here, suppose we consider again here, if you are writing vector form, you can write L equal to R cross P. If you are writing magnitude form, so you already know this cross product. So if you are writing cross product in terms of magnitude, you have to write magnitude of two vectors. So we can write L equal to P into R and into sine of theta, where theta is the angle between P and R vector. So you can see here in figure. So theta, that is here it is 90 degree, we are taking as theta here. So sine theta will be sine 90. Sine 90 is actually 1. So your equation will be L equal to P into R into 1. So that will be L equal to PR. Okay. So in magnitude form, you can directly write L equal to P into R. Now P we already know it is MV. So we are getting MVR. So this we already discussed here in previous slide, that is, it is in terms of linear velocity. So L equal to mvr. Now if you want to convert it in terms of angular velocity, so you will put your value here. So instead of v, we can write r omega. So this m as it is, instead of v, I am writing r omega, this r as it is. So r into r, you can write r square here. So I am getting expression L equal to mr square omega. This is the expression of angular momentum in terms of omega. This we will be using while deriving the expression for angular momentum. Okay, so we are using this expression in next our derivation. Okay, what next here? If you want to write SI unit of angular momentum, so using the formula, any formula, you are getting the same unit, that is, if you are writing mass, it will be kilogram. If you are writing distance square, it will be meter square, and omega is per second. So unit here will be kilogram meter square per second. This is SI unit of angular momentum. What about dimension now? So seeing this SI unit, you can write dimension here. So as we are writing m2, we will write L2. For kilogram, I am writing m1. Per second, I am writing t raised to minus 1. So dimension is L2 m1 t minus 1. Okay. Okay, next. What is here actually in derivation, we will derive that L equal to I omega. This I is moment of inertia, omega is angular velocity, L is angular momentum. Okay. So in our next derivation, we will derive actually this relation. If question is asked, derive an expression for angular momentum for rotating body, actually you will derive this formula, that is L equal to I omega. So seeing this expression, if you are defining angular momentum, that will be product of moment of inertia and angular velocity, and it is analogous to linear momentum. Okay. Next, same thing we here writing. Okay, now here derivation. How you will derive the expression L equal to I omega? Again, you will consider a rigid body. Suppose we consider a rigid body of any shape. This body is made up of n number of particles having masses m1, m2, m3, likewise mn. All these masses are at a distance r1, r2, r3, likewise Rn from axis of rotation. So linear momentum will be tangent to the position. So these are the tangent vector we shown here in figure, and for respective particles, these notations we are taking as P1, P2, P3, likewise Pn. Okay. Okay. Next, for the first particle, if you are writing the expression, so for first particle angular momentum, suppose we are writing as L1. Suffix 1 is for first particle. So L1 will be equal to R1 P1. This is according to the definition. R1 as it is, P1 will be actually M1 V1. That is product of mass and velocity. So for the first particle, we are writing suffix 1. So R1 M1 V1. If we are writing V1 as R1 omega, so we will be writing R1 as it is, M1 as it is. Instead of V1, I am writing R1 omega. I am not writing as omega 1, omega 2 likewise, because we consider body is rotating with constant angular velocity. Okay. Okay. So here you can multiply these two terms of R1. So we are here our expression will be L1 equal to M1 R1 square omega. So this we wrote here for first particle. Similarly, if you are applying same relation, same equation here for all the particles, so we can write for second particle as L2, which will be equal to M2 R2 square omega. Similarly, we can write as L3 for the third particle, which will be equal to M3 R3 square omega. Similarly, for the last particle, nth particle, we can write Ln equal to Mn Rn square omega. So these are individual angular momentum of all given particles. Okay. So if we are writing total angular momentum of rigid body, so that will be equal to sum of all angular momentum of individual particles. So we will write L equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus likewise up to Ln. Now here we will put values here. So L equal to L1 will be M1 R1 square omega plus L2. So plus M2 R2 square omega plus L3. So here it will be plus M3 R3 square omega plus dash plus up to last particle Ln. So Ln will be Mn Rn square omega. So you can see here omega is constant. You can take common here. So in bracket remaining terms here will be M1 R1 square plus M2 R2 square plus M3 R3 square plus Mn Rn square, and this bracket term is nothing but actually I, that is moment of inertia, that is summation I equal to 1 to n mi Ri square is nothing but moment of inertia. This we already discussed in the definition of moment of inertia. Okay. you can, if you want, you can refer our earlier lecture. So this summation is moment of inertia I. So L equal to I omega. This is actually the formula for angular momentum of body rotating with constant angular velocity. Okay. So this derivation can be asked for 3 marks. Okay. Next thing, if we discuss here principle of conservation of angular momentum. So maybe it is asked to you, relation or prove the statement. Maybe question may be hence prove. So that can be again for 3 marks. So what is the principle or statement here? So you have to remember this inverted commas statement. So if no external torque acts on rotating system or a body, then angular momentum of system or body remains constant. Okay, that means what? If no torque is acting on the body, the angular momentum of that body will remain constant. Okay, so we already know here the relation, that is notations, common notations we are using here while writing the proof. So suppose we consider torque, tau is acting on a body, so torque tau, we can write tau equal to I alpha. This we already derived in our previous lecture, tau equal to I alpha. This alpha is angular acceleration, I as it is, that is moment of inertia. Angular acceleration, you can write it as rate of change of angular velocity with time. So we are writing d omega by dt. Okay, so if derivative we are taking here outside, so d by dt of I omega. So this I omega is nothing but angular momentum, we just derived it. So tau equal to dl by dt. Okay. Okay, next, suppose we consider here, suppose we can take it as equation number 1, that is tau equal to dl by dt. Okay, now suppose we consider our expression, that is L vector equal to r cross p, that is according to the definition of angular momentum, right? Okay, so if you are differentiating the relation with respect to time, you can write as dl by dt equal to d by dt of r cross p vectors. Okay, so we are taking derivative of cross product. So how you will take the derivative of two vectors which are here? We are taking as cross vectors or vector product of two vectors. So how you will write derivative? So you will apply actually chain rule of derivative. And what is that rule? Here there are two terms. First term r vector, second term p vector. So how you will expand this derivative for this vector product? So you will write first term as it is cross derivative of second term plus sign derivative of first term cross second term as it is. So you will write actually r cross dp by dt plus dr by dt cross p. First term as it is cross product second term derivative plus first term derivative cross second term as it is. Okay, so now here next thing, we already know this r is position vector. Okay, so dr by dt, that is change in the position vector with respect to time, is nothing but linear velocity. So dr by dt will be linear velocity, and this thing, that is dp by dt, this p is linear momentum. So dp by dt will be force. How? Because we already know p is mv. So if you are taking derivative of mv with respect to time, m is constant, you will take it out and you will write derivative of actually v. So dv by dt, and this dv by dt will be nothing but acceleration. So you will be getting m into a, which is nothing but force according to Newton's second law. Okay, so we are directly applying Newton's second law of motion. So dp by dt is equal to f. Okay, now next, so we are putting values here. So dl by dt as it is, now here r cross as it is, dp by dt we are writing as f. So here f plus sign as it is, dr by dt we are writing as velocity and p linear momentum is mv. So actually we are getting m is the scalar product, or sorry, scalar one, so we can take it out. So we can write v cross v, and v cross v, that is vector product of same vector will be 0. This is the property of vector product. We already discussed this topic earlier, right, in 11th standard. Okay, next thing, so we are getting dl by dt is equal to r cross f, right? Second term will become 0, and this r cross f according to the definition is nothing but torque. So tau equal to dl by dt. Now in the statement it is given external torque acting on the body is 0, so you will put tau equal to 0. If you are putting tau equal to 0, that means what? dl by dt will become 0. And as you know, change in angular momentum with time is 0 means what? L is constant. So derivative if with respect to time is 0 means this angular momentum is constant. So we prove the statement here, that is if no external torque is acting, so angular momentum will remain constant. So this is known as conservation of angular momentum. Now here there are different examples of conservation of angular momentum. Okay, what do you mean by that here? Means what we will consider here actually. So we already know L equal to I omega. Okay, so this angular momentum remain constant means what? If we consider I increases, omega will decrease, so that this product will remain constant. If we consider omega increases, so I will decrease, so that this product I omega will remain constant. Okay. Okay, what do you mean by that? So first example we consider ballet dancer. Okay, so if ballet dancer here stretches out his arms and legs, so that means what? In that case moment of inertia will increase and the frequency of rotation will decrease, that is omega will decrease, and the product I omega will remain constant. Okay, now here if ballet dancer folds his arms and legs, that means what? Here moment of inertia will decrease and angular frequency, that is omega, will increase, so that the product I omega will remain constant. Similarly here, second example we consider diving in a swimming pool. So if divers actually when stand on the diving board, they actually stretches their body. Stretching, they fold their bodies. While stretching, MI actually moment of inertia increases when they fold their bodies just leaving the board. After just leaving the board, they fold their body. Because of that, their rotation in the air increases, so that actually they actually become attractive for the viewers. So in air they will rotate large number of time when folding the body, and while entering the water they stretch their bodies so that they actually smoothly enter the water. So this is second example of conservation of angular momentum. Okay, so this is all about for today's lecture. In next lecture we will discuss about rolling motion and derivation. Okay, so if you're having any difficulty, you can ask freely, you can message me personally, or you can write your doubts in comment box. Okay, so feel free to like, subscribe. Okay, then we'll take care. Thank you.